welcome to another dose of Get Hydrated. Today I'm joined by a voice that you'll likely recognize, one of our sponsors from Workhere. I have Doug Applegate, the Vice President of Client Success with me. Doug, thanks for taking some time to speak with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, first, if you could just talk a little bit more about what exactly Workhere is and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And Workhere is a local startup in the Indiana area, but we're working nationally. And we are a recruitment marketing platform that is helping employers and job seekers alike find matches by location.
And exactly how does it do that without divulging too many secrets?
Yeah, so there is some patent pending technology behind it, but to give a 10,000 foot view, it's a location based service that allows us to utilize advertising technology and marketing technology in the vein of recruitment. And by doing so, we're able to identify a variety of different skill sets and a variety of different workers based on where they are in location. And by doing so, we're able to help match them up with local employers and employment opportunities nearby them so that they can have a closer work to home commute.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, historically, from what I know of the industry, doing something around geofencing, location-based recruiting hasn't ever really been a thing. You get on Indeed or Monster, pick your point, and you plug in a zip code, and that's some large radius of whatever the answer may be, right? Do you know, or could you speak to what it is you're seeing in the industry that you guys feel like there's a real need or a real value to this type of approach to recruiting?
Absolutely. So to your point, yes, there's a lot of ways that people view or think of location. In the traditional sense, it was by city or by zip code. And really why Workhere was started and created was to really focus on a hyper-local approach. And really by hyper-local meaning not just within a zip code, but within an intersection, within a street or an address local. And we're able to utilize that hyper-local technology to be able to help people find work literally close to them, not just within the same city, because we all know one side of the city to another may be a 45-minute commute. It still may be Indianapolis, for instance. Whereas now I'm on this side of town and I'd like to stay within this 2-mile radius of my home. Our ability to match employers with those job seekers and vice versa really does make it a much different and much more rifled approach rather than, say, a shotgun array approach. So it's really, when we say hyper-local, that's what we mean by hyper-local, where we can really drill down from a technology standpoint to a few meters, let alone a zip code or a city.
Okay. So the McDonald's I visit every day that I've been dying to get a job at, then I can hop on Workhere and see they're hiring.
Absolutely. Yep. And there may be employers in and around your area that you aren't aware of or that you haven't seen or knew were hiring. And the opportunity to be able to utilize our application, our website, whatever it might be, really does open up those opportunities. We have a community coach team that also engages the job seekers. So it's not just you doing it by yourself, doing a job search. We actually have community coaches that are involved with helping answer questions, helping direct people to opportunities and identify different opportunities within their experience and skill sets that can be a match. And that 1-2 combo really does make it a much more powerful service and platform to be able to utilize rather than just a job or a recruitment firm.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, at the end of the day, who wouldn't want the shortest possible commute to work if you had an opportunity to get there, right, and really be able to pinpoint it. So even at a very large scale, the concept makes a lot of sense. Are you guys focused on a particular type of customer in terms of either a type of employer or type of candidate?
In actuality, no. We are working with a variety of industries and in a variety of different employers, as well as in a variety of different geographies across the United States. So to give you some examples, we work with companies that are looking for drivers. We're looking for couriers, and there's companies that are looking for CNAs and nurses. There's companies we're helping with find cosmetologists and plumbers. So there really is a variety that our technology is able to span across multiple different industries and or skill sets.
Okay. Um, Now you have some webinars coming up. I think you specifically actually are hosting some webinars. I see them floating around there on LinkedIn. Can you talk a little bit more about what those are going to be focused on and give the audience an idea of what they maybe want to sign up for?
Yeah, absolutely. We have been doing some webinars lately, and we have some more on tap for the near future as well. And you can go to workhere.com and learn more about those and sign up or register for those as well. The few topics we've been focusing on lately has been around geofencing to help people understand a little bit more of the technology. So we have a webinar where one of our co-founders, Mike Seidel, is definitely hosting a geofencing, geotechnology related content. I myself am participating in some of these webinars as well related to turnover and related to what's working or maybe even in some cases what's not working in recruitment.
Yeah, I would imagine there's probably an educational component to it because, if I'm a candidate and I'm unsure about the technology, living in today's age where everybody is more hyper aware of my privacy and everything else more than ever, um, could you elaborate on that a little bit, or is that maybe something you guys cover in the webinar about? If I'm a candidate, am I somehow needing to be concerned with my information's at risk because it's showing up on this map, I guess, or how that works?
Right. So the way our platform works is really it's more for showing employers and job opportunities on the map or by location. So we don't share anybody's information or provide any information unless without their consent. And a lot of that in how we engage with them initially is subject to them clicking on something or going to our app and engaging with us initially. And through those conversations, we are able to gather information for helping them create a profile or helping them identify opportunities. But in regards to obtaining that information, that's obviously anonymized, and we don't share that with anybody other than unless it's been given consent by that job seeker. So that's kind of how the platform works. And on the other end, with our employers, when they receive that information of a candidate, they're able to contact that person directly and as quickly as they possibly can.
Well, that's good to hear because I would fear I could see and envision with everything being so social media driven that
Yeah.
in my head I see
Yeah.
this like map of a bunch of bubbles popping up and communications just streaming in the moment trying to negotiate for a job, which sounds just absolutely disastrous.
Yeah. No, we want the app to and we want the platform and the app to definitely engage and have an engagement element to it, but we also don't want it to just be something where it's free reign.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone appreciates that. Now, given that, as you know, we host a podcast here that's really focused on healthcare, is there a connection or a use case that you could see between the Workhere platform and the healthcare industry?
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the trends in the recruitment world are universal regardless of industry. And as I mentioned before, with our platform being able to work with a variety of employers and also help with a variety of different skill sets, nursing, home health care, skilled nurses, all of the above in the healthcare industry, and even those in a non-clinical role. There's definitely some opportunities that the Workhere platform can help those, but at the same time, technology is definitely gravitating more and more towards the recruitment industry and the issue of recruitment and the lack of talent and the overabundance of job opportunities. So there's definitely trends going in that way, and Workhere is I think strategically placed themselves in an opportunity to take advantage of that. But at the same time, we're one of the first that's also doing this too. So that makes us a little bit more special.
Yeah, I immediately think you mentioned home health, and I'm sure this isn't potentially the perfect application or something that maybe you guys think about, but when I think about a home health nurse and all the miles they log in a given day and how much driving they're doing, not that they wouldn't necessarily know that a home health company exists that closely to them, but maybe the platform offering such a convenient way to be able to get access seems like it makes a lot of sense because again, if I'm a nurse and I've been driving all day, you and I have both worked in that industry. We know these nurses are logging hundreds of miles a day sometimes. To be able to get back, drop off paperwork, and be a mile from your house, I'm guessing is probably pretty amazing for them.
Yeah, not only with technology as a whole being an opportunity to improve business processes across the spectrum of healthcare, much like I'm sure Hydra is doing as well to address some of those areas. But what Workhere and some of the other HR tech that's emerging out in the field is really is helping people identify opportunities to have a better work-life balance, or at least slow down, shorten their commute. And I think it was Robert Half actually just in the last couple of weeks came out with a study that identified that 25% of the job seekers that they surveyed had quit due to a bad commute. So a commute is a big deal, and thus part of the reason why Workhere created a location-based app and service to address that rather than addressing skill sets, which has been going on for a long time. But location is one of those new frontiers, so to speak, that haven't really been addressed. And if you can lower your commute time or shorten your distance to and from work and home, or even in between jobs, there is something to be said about that. Workhere, we created a commute calculator too that people can access on the site as well to be able to even calculate what the cost of a commute over the lifespan of their career would really cost them. It's quite staggering to look at.
Yeah, and that's funny that you talk about that tool specifically, because as you were speaking about the transition in terms of people wanting more of a work-life balance and thinking about expenses, it is becoming more quote-unquote normal than ever to start evaluating the cost of owning a car compared to Uber or Lyft. And immediately, if you're the one typically longer drive daily that runs up the cost of that comparison, right? If I'm to get rid of a car, but yet I got to take an Uber to work every day, and my Uber trip to work is 20 miles, it ain't going to work. That math doesn't work. You're going to be better off not owning a car. But if again, I'm obviously speculating here a little bit, but that I immediately begin to think about the relationship between how the transportation industry is changing and the potential cost savings when maybe you really identify that you don't need a car because you're able to use a service like Workhere. They can identify an employer so close, and then you do the math and you realize that you save a couple $100 a month because you're not owning a car.
Absolutely. So you take that perspective from the worker or the job, the employee, but think about it also from an employer's perspective. You have employees that are coming to work and have a shorter commute and live closer to your location. You're going to be saving money. You're going to have employees that are able to keep more of their own income rather than spending it on their car, right? And then in turn, you're going to be able to have and influence your culture to be able to have a happier employee and a happier workforce. So location definitely is one of those that's at the heart of one of the reasons why turnover, a lot of companies experience turnover so much. It's not the only one, obviously, but it's one of them. And location is definitely one of those areas that Workhere decided to really focus on, and I think we found some success early on in our startup phases here to really bring some influence into a company's bottom line and help improve employers' opportunities to shift that balance a little bit. Much in the same way companies are utilizing and have for the last few years seen a shift in the gig economy and virtual and work from home related positions. It's all to address some of those pains that come with a commute or people that are driving to and from home at work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Doug, I appreciate you stopping by today to talk to us a little bit more about really what is a very exciting and innovative approach to an industry in my mind that is needing to find ways to innovate without question. So thanks again for taking some time. Before we close up, would you like to share where the best place to go and find everybody is, give all that social media info and all that 2018 contact info?
Yes. Again, the website is workhere.com, all one word. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We're everywhere. At Workhere app is our handle on Twitter. And you can find us there. And obviously, you can find us in the Google Play Store as well as the iPhone store. I'm sorry, I have an Android, so I don't know what the
It's okay.
Apple.
It's actually encouraged on this podcast, so I can appreciate that.
So you can find us on either one.
iTunes or
iTunes,
iStore,
there you go. Yeah.
Apple iStore.
So iTunes or the Google Play Store, you can find the app, and I encourage anybody that's interested, whether you're a job seeker or not, to give us a try.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for your time today, Doug. We appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again.